Well, it's one of the 10 biggest games of the season, according to ESPN. That's Georgia and Oregon to open the year at the Dome in Atlanta. And one thing that was being talked about with this game is just how important it is for the entire regular season for Georgia. And I think the short answer to that is it's pretty significant, but it's not do or die. I think for Oregon, it's further up the list of importance. Always for Georgia, the biggest games are the terminal games, not the game that starts the season. So, we've seen Georgia lose games at the beginning of the year and still go on to have very good seasons. 2011 comes to mind, 2007 comes to mind. Those were not season openers, but well, one of them was, but you can still have a really good season if you drop your opener. I don't expect Georgia to lose the opening game to Oregon, though. I'll tell you that right now. Now, look, before I talk about that, make sure that you're picking up DAWGSTRUCTION. I've got a copy right here. Here's the back of it, by the way. And, you can see all of the work that we've done getting into this. This is a great book. Make sure you're picking it up. I don't want you to miss out on getting that to you as fast as possible. It's going to be shipped out here in the coming days, so be on alert for that if you've ordered it. If not, take advantage right now. The link is down below. Um, this is going to be a tough game for Oregon to win. It looks like they're probably going to be a double-digit underdog coming into this thing, and there's a lot of reasons why it's going to be tough for them, and I will lay them out right now. Number one, you're dealing with either the best program in the country or the second best program in the country in Georgia. Just winning the game at home would be tough for Oregon. You're going to have to play in Atlanta. I mean, that's that's asking a lot of anybody when they're playing Georgia. I mean, it's gotten to the point now where any game in Atlanta, no matter who Georgia plays, is not a 50-50 game anymore. These games have become lopsided towards Georgia when they're playing in the SEC championship game against anybody, certainly except anybody but Alabama. And even with Alabama this past year, the two times Georgia's played Alabama on neutral turf, they've been 70% or 80%. Well, I'd probably say 70% Georgia fans or more. So playing Georgia in Atlanta is about as challenging an atmosphere to play them in. That's not Sanford Stadium. All right, Georgia is returning its starting quarterback from a team that won the national championship, a guy with this will be his sixth year of college football 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So that's not an ideal situation. Um, for Oregon, you're coming in with a new starting quarterback for your program. That doesn't mean it's not a new starting quarterback. Bo Nix has had a lot of trouble against Georgia through the years. Okay, so that's another kind of red flag coming into this game for Oregon. And then, of course, finally, Oregon's coming in with a new head coach, Dan Lanning, who was the defensive coordinator at Georgia for the last however many years since the Texas Sugar Bowl. So this is a very big lift for the Oregon Ducks. I, I don't coming into this thing see a path for Oregon to win this game. I mean, they're gonna have to come in, play exceptionally well. Bo Nix is going to have to play very well against Georgia, something that he did not do a season ago at home. He really didn't play well in Athens. He's never had 90,000 or whatever, thousand Georgia fans screaming against him in his entire time playing Georgia. He's had two full Jordan Hares and one quarter filled Sanford. He's going to get the full experience for the first time playing against a full stadium, a domed one, which is going to make it perhaps even tougher. I do not like this matchup for Oregon at all. I just don't like it. Now, you get to go out and play, and that's the question: can they get the job done here? I'm skeptical, and they're going to be a pretty solid underdog for a team that's ranked as high as Oregon will be, which could be a top 10 team. This is going to be similar to what we've seen Alabama dealing with when they have these preseason games against a team that is good but is not on their level. what does this game mean for Georgia and Oregon? Well, a loss to Oregon doesn't mean anything. I mean, it's just our Oregon's got house money here. They're playing. Um, they're in a situation where they can't lose. I mean, they literally can lose, but a loss is not a big deal. I mean, even if they got smoked, like say Miami did to Bama this past season in the where did they play? Did they play in Atlanta? I can't remember where they played. I think it was in, well, anyway, y'all will correct me down below, but I think it might have been in Texas. Even if you're in that situation, I just, I don't think it matters for the Ducks at all. I think it gives them the opportunity to say, hey, these guys we're going up against are either the best, second best, or third best team in the country. We beat Ohio State last year up there. Turns out Ohio State was not a top 3 or 4 team. It turns out they were like a top 5, 6, 7 team. And it turns out there was a really big difference between the top two and everybody else. So um, I think it gives Dan and his group an opportunity to really show their program, show their fan base, hey, I'm not just making this stuff up. These guys are really good. This gives you an opportunity to go up against one of the best teams in the country, and let's just see where it lands. For Georgia, and I know we're going to talk about the Oregon game a lot coming up in the next however many months, but for Georgia, I think the biggest thing is going to be meeting expectations coming into that game. I mean, if Stetson doesn't play well, you know what's going to happen there. I mean, he's going to get killed. So I want to see everything. I mean, there are so many things coming into any given season that you want to see so that you can confirm things. Is Stetson going to play steady? Is Georgia's offensive line going to be what we think it is, which is probably really good? Is Georgia's defense going to be able to be 3/4 of as good as they were? I mean, there's a lot of moving parts on Georgia's defense for sure. I mean, Georgia's offense is basically returning the vast majority of playmakers. The defense is not. This guy is back, and there's plenty of players that Georgia returns. For instance, every player in this page except James Cook. So, Lab McConkey, Brock Bowers, Kenny McIntosh, Stackhouse, Brinson. I mean, they will not return to Kobe Dean. They will not return Schaefer. There are guys that they're going to have to uh, replace and so forth. But that's what the recruiting's for, and that's what Georgia's been doing for these last 4 and 5 years. The guys are there, and we're going to see how it goes. But it was one of the top 10 games that ESPN's talking about will affect the college football playoff. I agree with that. I think if Georgia wins it, it really doesn't affect the college football playoff at all. I mean, you already knew Georgia was going to get there. There's several games that Georgia could trip up along the way that are not Oregon. It's just that if Oregon does it, it gives the Pac-12 validity. I don't think we're there yet with the Pac-12. Now, I think Oregon could be good, then they could win that league. But you know, that league has got some work to do. And Oregon and SC are the two that are going to have to carry the banner for them. And right now, everything leading to this season indicates that won't be the case in terms of knocking Georgia off. But we'll see. I mean, it's tough to win in Atlanta against Georgia. That is a tough thing to pull off, and that's why we've seen lately it's only been teams that have played for the national championship or won it. 18 Alabama, 19 LSU, 21 Alabama. It's tough to beat Georgia in Atlanta. Just ask Georgia Tech.